In this video, I'll show you how you can bring a little bit of winter into your small home studio. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that's got everything for us photographers. Now outside it's cold and wintry, so I thought the best place to be is inside, where I can do a shoot in my small home studio where I turn it into a cold wintry scene. Yeah, that makes sense. But inside, of course, I've got control of everything, including the weather, because I'm going to make it snow. Now, my snow is going to come in a bag, artificial snow like this, and to make it feel a little bit more like the outside in here, I'm going to use a piece of fencing I've grabbed out of the garden, and the most important prop is going to be this, a cardboard box. Okay, to see what I do with that, keep watching, but for now, let's set some lights up, let's get a model in, let's get shooting. So it's great to welcome Jade back into the studio. She's going to be the model for our winter-themed shoot, but before we talk about lighting, let's talk cameras. I'm using the Olympus EM1 Mark II and the Olympus 25mm f1.2 lens, and I want to use it at f1.2 for a shallower depth of field. But with all the room lights in here, I need to think about getting rid of those, and I'll do that by using high-speed sync and using a shutter speed of 0.002 of a second. Now, this is going to be a multi-light setup, but to break this down into single lights will make sense, so let's do that. Let's start with the first key light that's lighting Jade and see how that looks. So Jade, I'm going to bring the camera in, and we'll take a shot like that. That's lovely. Now, because I'm using high-speed sync, what I can't do is use a flash meter, but what I can do is trial and error, take a shot, review it, and adjust if necessary. But that looks about right. Now you'll notice the background is fairly dark, but I don't want it completely black. So to add some separation back there, I'm going to use this, which is a gobo. Now you might be thinking that's actually just a cardboard box, but you'd be wrong. It's not just a cardboard box. It's an Adorama cardboard box. And I've punched a bunch of holes in it. I'm going to add another eVOLV 200 and shine that through the holes to give me that dappled look on the background. Now, don't be fooled. The shapes that you see on the background are there as a guide. You're seeing the difference between an LED point light source and a bigger flash tube. It will give a different pattern, and the best way to find that out is to take a picture. So, here we go, Jade. Let's do that shot. And as you can see, that works great. We have a lovely dappled background. So I'm ready to start adding in some snow to the shoot, and it's really more like confetti than snow, and I'm going to just blow some snow into the scene. So let's just see how it looks now. Here we go. So I've got a little bit of snow, and I'm just going to come hold it pretty much in line with the lens and just give it a little blow and take the shot. Jade, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Except the snow in this shot, well, it's there, but it's not quite as good as I'd like. It's not particularly bright, and if we look in places, it's actually dark and patchy. So what's going on here? Well, for this to work, we've got to think about the lighting. The light that's going to light the snow is going to come from this key light here, but if the snow is in front of it, then very little or no light is going to reach it. The end result is it's going to be underexposed and even cast shadows in front of Jade's face. So we need a third light, one that is specifically designed to light the snow. So this is it. This is going to be my snow light. Its one and only job is to backlight the snow confetti. So I'm going to pop it nice and close in like that. So it is aiming at the lens. I've got my lens hood on. I recommend that because that should help reduce the flare a little bit. But I'll take a test shot just to make sure that this flash isn't flaring into the lens. Okay, let's do a test shot, Jade. Here we go. And that's absolutely fine. No flare whatsoever. Right, let's add a bit more snow and see how this changes the colour and brightness of that snow. Here we go. The end result is incredibly different. That snow is much, much brighter. Is it too bright? Possibly. If it's too bright, well, I can adjust the brightness of the snow. I have that flash on group C, so I can just drop the power down by 1 stop and try that again. Here we go. So I can control the brightness of the snow by adjusting that backlight power, but I can also control the blurriness of the snow by deciding when to press the shutter. The more snow that is close to my lens, the more out of focus and bokeh-like the snow will be. The later I press the shutter, the more it will reach Jade and the sharper it will be. Let's try this. Here we go. Now, of course, what you might want is both big bokeh snow and sharp snow. Well, for that, you might need an assistant like Sam over there. She's going to add some snow in behind Jade. I'm going to add some snow in front. Let's try this. Here we go. Are we ready? On three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And that works really well to give a variety of size of snowflakes. So that's the basic setup. Let's take a few shots like this, mix things around a little bit, and see what great pictures we can get. So Jade, are you ready? Yeah. Sam, you ready? Okay, let's take some pictures. Well, that worked really well. However, there are a couple of post-processing things I want to do just to complete the look that I'm going for. So let's see what we got with the picture of Jade and see what I'm going to do. So here's the image I want to work on, and it looks fine, but I want to adjust the contrast, just lower that down for a slightly different look. Now, to do that, I'm going to come up to Layer, then down to New Adjustment Layer, and across to Brightness and Contrast. I don't need to give it a name, I'll just click OK. Now here, the key thing is to click on the box that says Use Legacy, because it's a different way of doing contrast, and it's the way that I feel looks good for this shot. So I'll just get my contrast slider and bring it down to anything between -20 and -30, somewhere in the middle. That looks good to me. Right, so that's a little bit less contrast, but it can leave some banding in the image. So we're going to cover that up, and I'm going to apply some texture into the background to make it feel a little bit more outdoorsy. Now, textures, you can create your own, or you can find them all over the place. Head over to my blog at gavtrain.com and you'll find lots of free to use textures there. I've got one downloaded already. I'm going to use this one right here. And to add that onto the image, I'm just going to select and all, then over to Edit and Copy, then back to the main image and choose Edit and Paste. Now when I paste it on, it will completely cover the image. So to reveal the original image, let's go and change, first of all, the layer blending mode. I'm going to change it from normal. I'll drop that down and change it to the soft light blending mode. Different blending modes will give different effects, so feel free to experiment there. Next, I'm going to change the opacity and just drop it down a little bit. I think around about 70-ish% should look good, just to have a little less obvious texture. And because the texture is sharp and parts of the picture are blurry, I'm actually going to blur the texture by going to Filter and then Blur and then Gaussian Blur. And I reckon anything between 5 and 8 should work well. Let's go with 6. Let's go with something in the middle. A little bit of blurring, that looks good. Now, of course, that will apply the texture across the whole image, including Jade's face, so I don't really want it there. I'll just go up to Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal All, and then paint that away with a paintbrush, making sure I've got black as my foreground colour, and I can just click and paint any texture away from Jade's face and arms, like that. And there you go. There it is. My winter portrait, shot in the studio, is complete. I guess the only downside with this technique is the snow gets absolutely everywhere, but I think it's worth it in the long run. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave me a comment below, and if you want to see more videos from myself and the other amazing presenters right here on Adorama TV, you know what you've got to do? You've got to click on that subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.